thanks to all of you for taking the time to meet with us today. I'm aware of the fact that you're all doing everything you can to make adjustments to adapt your branches to the emerging threats we're facing and to a very tough budgetary environment with a lot of uncertainties. Secretary James and General Walsh, during the confirmation hearing with Secretary Carter last month, we discussed the overall importance of having well-coordinated acquisition, sustainment, and logistics processes to better achieve cost efficiency and readiness for major weapons systems. I know this has been a high priority for each of you, but so can you describe to our committee how the Air Force sustainment efforts have performed in the last year, especially as you recover from sequestration in 2013 and the direction the Air Force budget request takes sustainment efforts through the next 5 years?
Senator, are you referring to sustainment of weapon systems and trying to drive the costs down in the sustainment world?
Yes.
So I would say in that regard, we are laser focused. I think we're making progress. There's a lot of work to be done, however, truth in advertising in that arena. We talk frequently about unit costs of weapon systems, and we track that very closely, but over time we have not had as much of a focus on that sustainment piece, and that frequently can be as expensive, if not more expensive. So we're working it hard. I think we're making progress, but lots more to come.
Thank you. I appreciate your commitment to that. And you have anything to add to that, General?
Senator, I would just add that the reorganization of Air Force Materiel Command a couple of years ago and the development of the 5 centers that we have inside that command now, to include the Life Cycle Management Center and the Sustainment Center, is changing the game for us on how we create efficiencies inside the supply chains. And I'll tell you that the work that General Janet Wolfenbarger has done leading this effort as the commander of Air Force Materiel Command, and that Lieutenant General Bruce Litchfield has done in particular in the Sustainment Center, and also Lieutenant General C.D. Moore, who is now retired, who is in the Life Cycle Management Center, has been spectacular in launching us in a completely new direction in how we sustain fleets of aircraft and equipment over time. And I think we're making remarkable progress. We just can't slow down now.
I appreciate your commitment to that. Now, the Air Force last year determined that it was experiencing a shortfall in 5 and 7 experience level maintainer personnel for the undermanned legacy fleets and F-35 aircraft scheduled to be brought into service, and recently announced measures for a near-term solution to the issue. Can you give the committee more detail about what alternative solutions may have been considered by the Air Force and why the Air Force chose to transfer maintainers from A-10 squadrons, and how the Air Force will be impacted if a longer-term solution to this maintainer issue can't be found?
Yes, Senator, the issue was we are, because of the budgets that are lower than we anticipated a few years ago, we are having to cut force structure. So we're not adding numbers of squadrons, we're decreasing numbers of squadrons while we're bringing a new weapon system on board. So we have to replace Squadron A or Aircraft A with the new Aircraft B and take the people who are working A to be part of the new squadrons that run Aircraft B. That we don't have 1,000 more maintenance personnel standing around waiting for work.
Right.
And so because we are not transitioning that way now, we're not retiring the squadrons we had planned to retire to stand up the F-35 squadrons. We have to find that maintenance manpower in some other way. And the first effort we were going to make was to just downsize the percentage of manning within every other fighter squadron in the Air Force to take the experienced maintainers we need to be able to build up the F-35 fleet, as opposed to delaying F-35 development and bed down at multiple bases. Unfortunately, as we put that plan together, ISIS became a reality, and the continued effort in the Middle East related to Iraq and Syria came on the books, and we can't take those squadrons down and still support that effort. So now we're looking at contracting an aircraft maintenance unit at Luke Air Force Base to help us with the training effort and to have contract maintainers instead of active duty maintainers. The problem with that is we then are not developing the active duty maintenance personnel that we need to send out to Hill Air Force Base and to other places as we bed down the F-35, because the maintainers there have to be deployable. We're in a corner here. We have got to develop active duty F-35 maintenance people to bed down airplanes, and we don't have them standing around.
Yeah, there's no question you're in a difficult spot, and I appreciate your ongoing commitment. to that issue to make sure that we maintain our equipment that we've got, and appreciate your insight into that. Thank you very much.
Senator Blumenthal.